Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a 1x1 Rubik's Cube. It only has one layer and it is always solved. It has only one possible combination. Just kidding. I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a 2x2 Rubik's Cube instead. Now, before you begin, you need a 2x2 Rubik's Cube, which you obviously have, or you wouldn't be watching this video. And sorry about my voice, I am a little sick right now. Okay, now before you start, of course you have a 2x2, now you'll need to know some things. If you already know how to solve a 3x3, you don't need to watch this tutorial. You can just solve the 2x2 like a 3x3, ignoring all the steps that involve a center or an edge, because there are no edges or centers on the 2x2. Now, no matter how many times you solve the 2x2, the color scheme will always remain the same. For example, if your cube's color scheme is white opposite yellow, green opposite blue, and red opposite purple or orange, white and yellow will never be adjacent when solved because there will always be on opposite sides. If you have no experience with solving Rubik's Cube whatsoever, there is an element for memorization required, but don't let this worry you. With practice, you'll remember everything with ease. Now, before you learn how to solve the 2x2, you will need to learn some notation. If you already know how to solve a 3x3, you don't need to watch this part of the video that explains the notation. But if this is your first cube, you'll need to know the notation. As usual, you have your tops, bottoms, the sides, left and right, the fronts, and the backs of the cube. We assign each side of the cube a letter. F stands for the front side, R stands for the right side, L stands for the left side, D stands for the lower or down side, B stands for the back side, and finally, U stands for the top or upper or upside. Now the moves of the cube are represented by letters too. A plain capital letter, for example F, means to turn that side 90 degrees clockwise as though you're facing it. And B goes this way, F goes this way, L goes this way, R goes this way, U goes this way, and D goes this way. Now, a capital letter with an apostrophe or prime symbol after it means to turn it counterclockwise as though you're facing it. It's exactly the same as F, only it's the opposite direction. Fi looks like this, and this so with Li, Ri, Di, 2 in front of the letter means to turn that side 180 degrees. This is 2F. This is 2U, this is 2L, this is 2R, this is 2D, and this is 2B. It doesn't matter which direction you go when you turn a side 180 degrees. It doesn't matter which direction you go. It can go clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, now that you know the 2x2 notation, it is time to scramble and begin learning how to solve the 2x2. Okay, now the 2x2 cube is scrambled. Now, step 1 is to solve the white side. We won't be worrying about the other colors for now. Okay, to begin, choose a corner as your starting corner. I'll choose this one because it has a white sticker on it, and I'll start with a white color because white is the color that stands out the most on a scrambled 2x2. Now what you're going to do is find another corner with white on it and bring it up, just like this. So you should have a pair of white. Don't worry about these two colors. We'll fix those later. And now, this corner is oriented wrong, but that's easy enough to fix. Just bring it up, and then just bring that up. And this corner has already been inserted for us, but if not, then we can bring this side down, bring it over, bring it up. Okay, now it's time for step 2, the first layer. Now, by this step, you should have solved the white side, but we want to pair up these colors because, as you can see, it's still scrambled. This layer. We won't be worrying about the last layer now. Now, the first thing you want to do is find a pair of matching colors. Sometimes you will have a pair of matching colors, but when you have this pair, these paired colors are sometimes called headlights. You want to hold the headlights on the back, like this. Then you want to do the following algorithm. R prime, F, R prime, 2B, R, F prime, R prime, 2B, 2R. And there we go. You have solved your first layer. But if you have no pairs of matching colors, then do the algorithm R prime, F, R prime, 2B, R, F prime, R prime, 2B, 2R to give you a pair. Now, hold it in the back and do the normal algorithm that I just mentioned. There we go. You have done your first layer. And that's all the first layer. Congratulations! Now you have done half of the Rubik's Cube. You've solved your white side and your first layer. Okay, now what we're going to do is turn the cube upside down so that the last layer is on the top face. Now, we need to orient the yellow corners, and we'll not worry about the positions of them now. This corner has yellow facing up, which means it's oriented correctly. These 3 corners are oriented incorrectly because yellow is not facing up on the corners. Okay, now there are 7 possible corner orientations plus 1 solved. Since we can ignore edges because there are none, we can use a few algorithms that are shorter than usual. Okay, now the first case we'll be looking at is called sun. And when we have this corner has yellow facing up, and this corner has on the right has the yellow facing you, and it'll always be on the right, on the right, on the right, and here it's on the top. So when you see a case, now this case is also on the 3x3. It's one of the fish orientations. So we want to hold the solved corner on the bottom left corner of the top face or upper face. Then you do the algorithm R prime U, R 2U, R prime. And that solves the orientation of the corners. If this corner is not facing you, but is instead on the right, we are not going to hold this here, but rather hold it up here, and see this corner has yellow facing you. This is called anti-sun, and it is also on the 3x3. Like, this is anti-sun. And we just do the previous algorithm backwards. It is R 2U R prime U prime R U prime R prime. And yellow is facing up on all the corners. Another case you might come across is when there's no yellow on top and we have headlights here and here. This is called double sun. And this is double sun on the 3x3. Now, on the 3x3, you have to apply that big long algorithm. But on the 2x2, because you don't have any edges or centers, we can use an algorithm that has only 5 moves in it. It is 2R, 2U, R, 2U, 2R. It's a very fast algorithm, and it is also very easy to memorize. Now, this case is called triple sun, and it's when 2 corners are on top that are diagonal from each other. This is also the only case where 2 corners are faced diagonal from each other. And these are headlights with a corner in the middle. And we will use the algorithm for this case on the 3x3. So, you want this corner facing you on the left. Then you do this algorithm. F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And that solves the orientation of the corner pieces. Now here's another case when you have no yellow on top. You have headlights here. Only one set of headlights. You don't have headlights here. But instead, you have a headlight, a single headlight here, and a single headlight here. You want the headlights on the left. And this algorithm is quite easy to memorize. Even though it looks long, but it's easy to memorize. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, and then again R, U, R prime, U prime, and then F prime. And there you go. You have solved your top layer corner orientation. Okay, now here's another case where you have headlights here and headlights on top. Now, you want to hold the headlights on the left. And then you can do this algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, and then F prime. Now, this case also is the beginner's algorithm for the 3x3. Now, here's the last case you might come across, where you have headlights, or rather top lights here, but you don't have headlights here. When you see this case, you want these 2 pieces on the right. Then you do the following algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. There you go. Okay, now time for the last step. Positioning the corner pieces. As you can see, this layer is still scrambled, even though it looks like this is solved. Now you want to find a pair of 2 pieces. So when you find one, you match up the colors. Now you want to hold the cube so that the big square of 4 is on the left. Then you have your pieces that need to swap here on the top. So you want to do the following algorithm. Now, we'll be using the algorithm that is for this case on the 3x3. These 2 corners swap, these 2 edges swap. It is the T permutation. So you do this algorithm. Do the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, 2R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. But if you don't have any pairs, then the algorithm I just mentioned won't work. Instead of using the T permutation algorithm, we'll be using the Y permutation algorithm. It is on the 3x3. These two corners swap, these two edges swap. So you want these two pieces that need to swap here and here. Now the Y permutation is just a combination of two orientations. It is F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, and then F prime. Congratulations! You have solved your 2x2 Rubik's Cube. Thanks for watching.